I'm Nancy. My channel is A Square Pillow Isn't Square. It is a place to find anything and everything you wanted to know about home dec sewing. Tips, techniques, advice, tutorials, instruction, all kinds of things. Today I am going to be doing part one of a two-part series on drapery lining. Drapery lining is probably the thing that in my almost 40 years of doing custom window treatments for people, the thing that is most misunderstood and most unappreciated. The correct drapery lining is critically important in getting a really good professional outcome for your window treatment and for making sure that it is going to do what it is designed to do and it's going to last for a long time. The video today is going to basically answer the question, do you need drapery lining? If so, why? And Tug, really? Buddy, you always got to come in here clicking your toenails. Why you got to do that? Every single video. Can I go to work, please? Thank you. So this video today is going to answer the question, do you need drapery lining? Why do you need it? When do you need it? When might you not need it? We're going to talk about that today. And then next week I'll post the second part in the series, and that's going to talk about the different types of drapery lining, whether the color of the lining matters, and the pros and cons of each kind. So stick around. We've got lots to talk about. If you do like this video, please subscribe so you know when I post new videos. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below and I'll answer them for you. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Should you use drapery lining in your window treatment? The answer almost always is yes. There's a few exceptions, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but for the most part, the answer is almost always yes, you should. Next question, why? Why does it matter? The most important thing that drapery lining adds to a window treatment is an element of protection. Drapery lining is designed to be tightly woven, usually sun-resistant, UV-resistant, and it protects your face fabric from fading from the sun and from something called sun rot, which is basically the UV rays disintegrating your fabric. So if you've ever seen really, really old lined draperies and the lining is just coming to shreds in the back or ripping or splitting, the lining did its job. It took the brunt of the damage from the UV rays and it protected the face fabric so that the lining took the hit, but your face fabric is still intact and from inside the room looks good. Another thing that lining does, and is almost as important, is it can change the actual body, the hand, they call it the feel of your window treatment. It can add luxuriousness to what might otherwise be a very lightweight fabric. Of course, one of the most important things that lining does is it helps you control privacy. If you line a drapery that is somewhat transparent, you can keep people from seeing into your home at night when the interior lights are so bright that people can see in. And it also, because you can control how much light it lets in, you also can control how much light it keeps out. And so you can select lining that will help you with room darkening. If you have a nursery or you work a night shift or you have any reason at all that you want to be able to completely black out light or partially black out light from coming into your room, you can line your window treatment in a way that will prevent light from coming in. Another thing that people don't really realize is that lining can help reduce electric bills. Using the correct kinds of lining and interlining will help insulate your room when your window treatments are closed. Interestingly, it can also help reduce noise. If you use a heavy lining or an interlining in your drapery, which we'll talk about that as well later, anything that absorbs sound will keep your room quieter, so it's also good for noise reduction. Another thing that it does is it creates some protection from moisture. Drapery linings, many of them, are treated to resist moisture, or if they do get wet, to not stain. So if drizzle, mist, moisture gets into your room, gets on the back of your treatment, that water, that moisture is not going to damage your face fabric. Your lining is going to protect it from that. So let's say you have a print fabric, but it's fairly lightweight. When light passes through the treatment, it kind of washes it out. It washes out the color, it washes out the design. By putting a lining on the back, you're going to really show off your face fabric more because it'll protect it from being washed out by the light. You can see behind me, I have a little stationary window treatment here. These are designed not to move. They're just stationary side panels. And you can see my blinds are closed right now, but the sun is coming in. So this is a good example too of when you have a window treatment that doesn't function and you think, oh, I don't need lining for that, I don't even close them. Here's a really good example of how even when they're stationary side panels, they are really barely covering the window. I mean, they might just cover 4 inches of this blind. The blinds are closed, but you can still see a lot of light is hitting the back of this drapery. And you can also see when I talk about changing the color and washing out the color, these do have a nice lining on the back of them. You can see that white lining that I've made. But you can see how just light coming through changes the color of the fabric versus where light is not passing through as well, which is on my double hem here. Just there's so many more layers, the light doesn't pass through. But any light that's going to hit the back of that drapery is going to fade it and over time rot it. So these are some of the many reasons to consider using drapery lining on your window treatments. So as you can see, there are a lot of good reasons to use drapery lining when you are going to the trouble to make a custom window treatment. But there are times where drapery lining is actually a bad decision. There's 3 situations where you really shouldn't use lining or you don't need to use lining. They are with shears, with casement fabrics, and in applications where the treatment is 100% on the wall and not on the drapery. So let's just quickly look at each one of those and talk about those. Okay, first let's talk about shears. Here's an example of a beautiful little shear treatment on this window. And obviously one of the reasons to not line shears is it defeats the entire purpose of them being sheer. If you line a shear, it is no longer sheer. If you allow it to be as is, completely sheer, it really shows off the texture and gives you a nice filtered light look. The other thing is shears, because they're designed to be unlined, are normally made out of naturally UV and fade resistant fabrics such as polyester. There's a few exceptions, but in general, shears are polyester so that they will on their own hold up really well to the damage caused by rot and fading. So don't line your shears for the most part. Alright, so the next application that I suggest you don't line your drapery is with a fabric called casement fabric. The casement fabric is basically, it's not a shear, it's heavier than a shear. It uses heavier threads, but a casement fabric is a loosely woven or an open weave type fabric that again is designed to not be lined. This is sort of, a casement fabric is kind of a cross between shears and a more tightly woven drapery fabric. And it's sort of a semi-sheer look, but it's still designed to filter light and be unlined. So you can see that this treatment here definitely is less transparent than a shear, but it's also transparent. It's semi-transparent to a degree, and at night you can kind of see through a casement fabric. So what oftentimes you'll see is either a hard treatment like this behind it, or sometimes there's another layer of privacy draperies that you open and close behind these casement fabrics. That way you get, these tend to be very natural colors, whites, creams, ivories for the most part, browns, tans. And they're just designed to give a natural semi-sheer or semi-transparent appearance to the window. The other reason you don't want to line these is any fabric that's loosely woven, and by that I mean you can really see a lot of air between the holes. It's got a nice soft hand to it. Casement fabrics can be stretchy. When gravity hits them, they relax, they kind of stretch out. And if you line this, if you've got a lining sewn to it, and your lining is very stable and tightly woven, your face fabric is going to stretch over time and relax, and your lining fabric is not. And that will create a couple of problems. You're going to have a problem of puckering along the seams, stretching along the seams here, where one fabric is trying to relax and the other fabric isn't moving. Another place you're going to see it is at the bottom of the drapery, where perhaps what on a flat table when it was made, the lining and the face fabric were the same length. Once this gets hung, the face fabric is going to stretch, the lining is going to stay up higher, and that's going to create problems at the bottom of the drapery too, because you're going to have a droopy kind of looking bottom hem, but because it's sewn tightly on the sides, it's going to kind of curve, it's going to pull up at the sides and kind of droop in the middle. In general, any loosely woven fabric, casement fabrics, are designed to not be lined. Okay, so we've talked about shears, we've talked about casement fabric. The last application where you don't need lining is simply when you have a 100% interior application. If you're doing draperies that literally stack only onto the wall, they're decorative, they don't cover any glass at all, they're just there for to make your window appear bigger. I've seen window treatments that are actually installed on walls to create the illusion of a window being there when there isn't one. So basically, if your drapery is just against a wall, you don't have any direct light hitting the back of your drapery, maybe in a shower, in a bathroom, places like that, then you do not have to line it. So I hope this was helpful and informative. If you like this video, you probably will want to stay tuned. Next week I'll be doing part 2 of this video, which will talk about the different types of drapery lining, whether it matters if you use white or ivory, which are the 2 standard colors, the pros and cons of certain drapery linings, and just a little more detail about the linings themselves. So watch for that. If you're interested in my new videos, please subscribe. If you have any questions, please ask them below in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. Thanks for watching, and happy sewing.